Hi guys, welcome to John's Ideas. I am part of JMG, and the thing about JMG is we're right now trying to research a field of career that we want to go in when we're older. And I picked YouTuber, and my dad's a YouTuber. He's Redneck Computer Geek on YouTube. I will be asking him 15 questions. If you guys have any questions in the comments that you want to ask him, we will try to answer them. Alright, the first question is, what is a typical day like?
Typical day is usually get up in the morning, double check whether I have any sponsorship offers for email, check my stats on YouTube, deal with getting everybody else the hell out of the house so that I can focus and work. After I deal with sponsorships and stuff, evaluate what I can do for a project for the day. I usually work on somewhere between 2 to 3 videos a week on a regular basis if possible. And then at the end of the day, I reevaluate the sponsorship offers and I go through and I do my editing at the end of the day and try to post the video in the mornings on the next day if I'm finalizing a video.
What high school classes could help with your field of work?
So, I was one of those kids that thought English was a waste of time. And ironically, the more into running my own business I got, the more I realized that I really shot myself in the foot by not doing better at English in school. Writing, reading, and speech, all of which are very key to any business. It's not just being a YouTuber. It's literally every business requires being able to write coherently, speak coherently, and explain yourself. Especially in sponsorships, you're looking at the idea of talking somebody into giving you thousands of dollars worth of free stuff, and you don't manage to do that with the curriculum capability of a toddler. You have to coherently be able to explain yourself in email. So yeah, English, that's my big one that if I had focused on, I would have done way better earlier on.
What other jobs/careers did you have before landing to this position?
Oh boy. Jobs/careers. I've done anything under the sun. I grew up in a very farmer, everybody does everything type family. So I've done everything from mechanic work to carpentry, like everything from pouring a foundation to putting the roof on your house, wiring it, and doing your insulation and your drywall and your plumbing. I can do, I know how. Anything car related. I've done everything from engine rebuilds to engine replacements. I've re-welded frames. I've done body work, electrical, everything on a car. I suck at farming, but I can do it if I have to. One of my first legally paid jobs was working in a restaurant, and I started out as nothing but a dishwasher in the restaurant. And by the time I got done working there, I was setting up and managing large get-togethers of upwards of 300 people. I'm a very big believer in starting in the basement and working your way up through a job. I think that the people that all of a sudden get stuck into a management position without ever actually being in the trenches or cleaning toilets or whatever, I think are the worst managers ever. I think the good managers are the ones that went through those moments so that they understand what they're asking people to do. And I've done everything of that nature. John oftentimes will ask me what the worst farm job is, and I say cleaning out anything to do with goats. Anything to do with goats and sheep, I'll never ever do again.
What do you like the most about your job?
freedom. The big thing about my job is I work every day on 80% what I want to work on. When you're dealing with a sponsorship, you have a certain requirement from the sponsor on what they would like to see in a video. But when you figure out that that's only about 30 seconds worth of a 10-minute video, and you do the math, literally most of the video is what you wanted to work on. So, yeah, I think the big thing about my job is freedom. I work on what we want to work on. One of the background things on Redneck Computer Geek is one of the original names I debated when I started the channel was Just Because. Because I never wanted the channel to be dedicated to just one genre. I wanted it to be whatever the hell I felt like doing.
Yeah. I think a lot of people want to know the answer to this one. How much money do you make a year?
Pre-COVID, I was on the verge of $40,000 a year. COVID annihilated YouTube income-wise, and so I diversify my income. I don't just do YouTube. Anytime that YouTube pays out decently, I take the extra and I put it into stocks. I put it into buying things to fix and flip. I put it into diversifying. So my total income after diversifying right now is probably about $25,000 a year. It's nowhere near what it used to be pre-COVID, because COVID changed everything about the way the online system works. Not exactly for the better in my eyes. But that's another story.
Alright. How long did it take before your videos started to pop off?
So technically, today is actually the 14th anniversary of me creating my original YouTube channel. But I actually tell most people that I've been a YouTuber for 12 years. Because it was about 2 years into creating my YouTube channel before I really got into a momentum of making videos that generated a consistent set of views. I was creating videos up until then, but I didn't have a consistent set of views coming in. And that's the real key thing about being a YouTuber, is you have to get to the point you have a baseline of views that you know you're going to make a certain income off of every video that you post, so that you know what your actual financial investment capability is for each video. And we do occasionally gamble. We will occasionally do a video that we spend more on than we know the general return would be. But you don't grow a business by staying exactly the same all the time. You only grow a business if you take a gamble every once in a while to expand what you're capable of doing. And YouTube is that way also.
What career did you originally want to go into when you were younger?
Well, the youngest career wanted to be when I was younger was when I was like 8 years old. And I thought for sure I was going to be in NASCAR. Which is funny, because I literally never even owned a go-kart or anything whatsoever. I basically had like a big wheel plastic bike, and I thought for some reason I was going to somehow end up in NASCAR. Not really sure where the leap of faith there was. By the time I was a teenager, and I actually covered this in a video on my channel called Where Did Redneck Computer Geek Come From? By the time I was a teenager, I had figured out that I was really good at talking computer. And so I became a computer tech from that, which started when I was about 12, 13 years old. About the age you are now is when I figured out that I was good at computers and just spoke ones and zeros. So that was when I really made the shift into this is what I'm going to do, and became a computer tech from there.
Why did you become a YouTuber?
I became a YouTuber deliberately to make money. I'm not gonna act like I didn't go into it meaning to make money. So by the time I became a YouTuber at 14 years ago, YouTube had existed for 5.5 years. And so at about the 4-year mark of YouTube is when they started monetizing and coming out with the ability to make an income off of YouTube. But YouTube was harder to get monetized back then. You literally just could not make anything unless you could manage to go and get like 10,000 views or so on a video. And so I went into it knowing that I had to get a video that would be consistent about getting views. And that's why I specialized originally in how-to videos. A lot of people will ask, as a question that I get asked on that, is what was my first video that actually made me $1,000? Because being able to have a video that makes you $100 on YouTube is easy. It's being able to break that $1,000 mark that is really the point where you start to figure the system out. And ironically, I made a video on how to redo and clean out and set up a filter for a fish tank from Petco, because I literally couldn't find a single how-to video how to do it. Because I was trying to figure out how to do it, and their directions that came with it sucked. There were no pictures. It was obviously some sort of Chinesium translation, and we're talking like 14 years ago Chinesium translation. We're not talking modern day Google AI did all the work for you. We're talking some human sat there and went, oh, I think fishy equals blah in Chinese translation. Like, it was that bad. And so I was frustrated. And after I figured out how to do it, the next time I tore the filter down in order to do a rebuild on the filter, I made a video. And the filter media and the canister itself cost me $125. That video consistently, until they phased out that model of filter, made me $50 a month until they finally came out with the next level of filter after that. And so for 5 years, that one video made me $50 a month.
Wow. How many hours do you usually work in a day?
As a YouTuber, you never stop. If I had to talk about, like, as a YouTuber, you are the worker, you're the manager, you're the stock person, you're the business consultant, you're every position. And so you have to think of you as one person as like 5 different positions in a basic business company setup. So you never stop working. There are multiple times where I'll stop everything we're doing just to take a picture of something so that I know I can post it when we get home, or because I'll shoot a video clip because I think it'll be good B-roll for another video that we're working on. Or we'll be literally in Dollar General and I will come up with a video idea while we're at Dollar General, and I'll shoot some B-roll footage or take some pictures in order to think on whether I want to do that video. So there is no time that you stop being a YouTuber once you start doing it professionally as a living.
Wow. This is like 2 questions in one. What is your favorite part of this career, and what is your least favorite part of this career?
The answer to both is people. As a how-to YouTuber, I love the comments where people say, this is awesome, I was able to fix this, I was able to get my mower up and running, I was able to rebuild the transmission, I was able to fix the drive shaft in my truck. I love the people comments about how they fix something. I absolutely can't stand the people comments where they're just too stupid to get out of their own way and figure it out. There are multiple how-to videos. The hardest part about being a YouTuber doing how-to videos is coming to terms with there is a certain portion of the population that is just too stupid to tie their own shoelaces. And that rather than figure out how to tie their own shoelaces, they're going to gripe and complain about it instead of just shut up and learn how to tie their own shoelaces. And unfortunately, because YouTube is so anonymous on the comment section, as a YouTuber, I have to put up with that stupidity. And so, people, the answer to both sides of the question is the best part about it is helping people. The worst part about it is realizing just how stupid a certain portion of those people are.
Alright. What do people think about your job when you're talking about it?
9 out of 10 think I'm joking. Without question. If I say I'm a YouTuber, 9 out of 10 think that I'm joking, because making it as a YouTuber as an actual full-time income is way harder than... They say starting a restaurant is a 1 in 5 chance of failure. I would say starting a YouTube channel as an attempt to have it as a full-time income is a guaranteed failure without diversification. So, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a Facebook meta creator, I deal with Instagram when I have to, I diversify into stocks, I flip things that I buy using the YouTube extra income. I take sponsored items, I use them in video, which creates the video, and then if the item is extra, I trade it or I sell it towards other income creating items. So, to say that I actually make a living as a YouTuber is in a way better worded as I make 75% of my income as a YouTuber. I diversify the other 25%. But any good business, any long-term good business diversifies. And that doesn't matter what the business is. They always diversify. I mean, think about like any restaurant you go to long-term. That restaurant might have started off as just serving pancakes. But over time, they diversify into waffles, donuts, bagels. They'll diversify what it is you can get on the pancakes, whether you get whipped cream, whether you get strawberries, whether you get whatever. There is no business that stays stagnant. They all diversify. Walmart is a prime example. Walmart, when it started, just sold household goods. Walmart now does tires. Walmart now has Sam's Club that sells gasoline. Walmart now sells restaurant supplies. Walmart now sells oil for your car, and you can even buy certain car parts through Walmart. No good business stays exactly the same forever. They all diversify over time.
Did you go to college, and would college help?
There's no teacher that would ever like my answer to that, because literally I went to college for what I did as a career as a computer repair guy, and if anything, the only thing college did was it put me $36,000 into debt to not teach me anything I didn't know the moment I walked through the door already. Trade school and college are very different. And college, you can go to a college and you can learn extra stuff, but trade school is only about the initial starting platform. And that's why I think trade school is better in the way it's set up than college is set up. Because people come out of college thinking they have everything. People come out of college thinking they have every tool possible to be able to do what it is they think they went to college for. Trade school, on the other hand, openly admits that they're just giving you the starting tools, and that you have to actually do the job in order to learn the rest of the trade. Like, if you go to trade school in order to learn how to do electrical in a house, then you learn the basics of, here's your 3 wires, here's what you connect your 3 wires to, here's your outlet that you connect them to, here's how that's going to be set up. But it never teaches you the actual getting that wire through a wall that was made in the 1970s without destroying every piece of sheetrock on the wall. It doesn't teach you how you're going to get a schematic for where to run the wire, but yet the carpenter is going to go and build a wall right in the middle of everything that's not set up for you to be able to drill through. Or you're going to go to drill that hole and find out there's a metal plate halfway through it. True story. True story. I worked an electrical job, and on the top plate of every wall, they put a metal retaining plate across every joint that was a foot long, because the contractor was paranoid. And it was sandwiched between 2 pieces of board, so you couldn't see that they were there. And I hit 3 of them, destroying brand spanking new drill bits that day. And you can't learn that in school. Because in school, you get a perfect piece of wood that you drill your hole through. You don't get real world experience. And so I think college in general is a waste of money. I think trade school, on the other hand, gives you the stepping stone to get into the reality of work.
Alright. Do you have any advice for me as I go into high school and start to figure out what I want to do?
Advice about high school I could give myself? The social life of high school doesn't mean jack diddly. The work ethic of those around you is what matters the moment you walk out through those doors after graduation. I know so many people that were social elite when they were in high school that are literally nothing but burger flipper, low level of society in today's world. Your work ethic means everything the moment you walk through those doors, walk out those doors. High school is absolutely the opposite of the reality of life. In life, the social status of whatever, 9 out of 10 times doesn't mean jack diddly to whether you have food on your table. You can wear all the pretty clothes, you can have the perfect designer jeans, you can have all of that and end up homeless. But if you have a work ethic, you will never be homeless and you will always have food, no matter what quality your clothing is. And that's the big thing about high school, is it doesn't actually give you the reality of life. It gives you a social construct that gives you a false impression that supposedly the social status matters as much as just get it done.
Alright. This is the last question. Do you have any questions for me?
As my part-time cameraman, what was the hardest part becoming cameraman over the years?
Probably getting sprayed in the face and having to stay still.
You want to know what I think it was for you?
What?
Shut up and take the video the way I want you to. That's what I think it was for you. Cameraman is a really hard job. And John does very well at being active cameraman after years worth of being conditioned to quit second guessing where I want the camera angle to be taken from. That's going to help him in being able to move on to doing the career. The other thing that John has learned over the years from doing that is that you don't just take one angle of approach to something. You take multiple viewing angles. And that transitions into real life. You never look at something as one angle. You look at everything in life as multiple potential angles to find the best angle. And that's how you succeed in life. And that's the thing I've passed on to you by having you as my cameraman, is finding the multiple angles. Even if we argue about the angles at times.
Alright guys, that was Interviewing Redneck Computer Geek. If you guys have any questions for him, put them down in the comments and we will try to answer them.
I have to do this again?
I don't know, maybe. If there's enough comments.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.